Yeah, this one is called Bang. Sarah spends her days applying old-fashioned filters to photos of her face and posting them on the internet. She wears sunglasses all the time so she doesn't have to see the world in its natural state because life is already too harsh. And the only time she can look at herself is in sepia or on a screen, because under each photo she can write a blurb about the life she wishes she lived. And each blurb reads summertime or the virgin suicides. Sarah shaves quotes into the side of her head until her hair reads "We are the hollow men," or paints lightning bolts down her face in case anyone still cares about Ziggy Stardust. And privately, she calls herself Bang, and she hopes that one day Bang will make it big, even if Sarah never can, because Sarah never can. Sarah surrounds herself with magazines and cuts out all the pictures of beauty queens, collaging all the heads to one body, because enough together might mean that beautiful becomes ugly. And after a while of staring at their blank white smiles, she takes scissors and scrapes right down their face until they look like static from a TV screen. And the radio is playing crackling old bootlegs of punk in the background, because she finds it reassuring to know that adults still scream. And at night, she dreams in black and white, and on all of the faces are neon stripes, and on those stripes read, "All right, all right, all right, all right, all right," again and again until it seems like life is trying to placate her, and when she wakes, the radio's jammed on one, so all day she's singing the number one song, which belongs somewhere between apathy and despair, and she knows that her hair is right. We are the hollow men. And then it's time to post photos again of her face and her life through a sepia lens, and assess the necessity of her existence through followers and friends, to forget that the way that the world will end is not with a bang, but a whimper. Now the scary technology bit. And the poem I don't really remember.
The letters pile up in the hallway, junk mail and bills and catalogues. The letters pile up in the hallway, junk mail and bills and catalogues.
She always said that she would be someone, and they believed her, because she was beautiful, and everyone wanted to be her or be with her. And she had a wonderful voice which made people stop and listen. And no one really knew her, but that was okay, because it was enough to know her smiling face, laughing from beneath the sepia haze on a hill in sunlight, where the light played softly on her skin. And she gave herself to everyone, until she was bored, and then she'd just move on, discarding one life for the next, always looking to be someone, always looking to succeed, and maybe in her 20s all she needed was to shine. But time twisted her, until the character she'd created became impossible to escape, and she didn't hear from people anymore, and she was shunted from household to sofa, to flat to sofa, to social housing to sofa, onto the sofa where they eventually found her. Her body, a melted stain on the carpet, whilst the television played daytime dramas to her bones, and they matched a photograph of her smiling face to the teeth that sat there on a skeletal frame, forever wrapping Christmas presents it would never get to send. And she will know none of this. She will not know that for 3 years she lay there undiscovered, her blood cold but her body still warmed by electric heaters, whilst a virtual world still flashed life onto her decomposing skin. And the food in the fridge carried on rotting until it was dust, and the neighbours noticed the smell, but that no one calls round, or that now a woman has sent her flowers in the shape of a documentary, or that people like me write poetry to her memory. But for her it has come more than 3 years too late, because that vibrant woman, whose mind no one could infiltrate, who covered over cracks with satin and lace, in the end died more alone than anyone could ever have known, leaving only a film which is nothing more than other people's blurred reflections of a person whose bones are all that really remain. And her name was once Joyce Carol Vincent, and she always said that she would be someone. last one I hope I shouldn't bloody need the thing for. I did it on Wednesday night without it. It was fine, but it's like a comfort blanket, so I stayed down there. I can't even read it properly. Anyway, the last one I'm going to do for you is about my favourite artist, who's, one of my favourite artists. She's a woman called Anna Mendieta, and it's about her, and it's also in part about her husband, who's another artist called Carl Andre, and it's called Blood Signs and Body Tracks. You always said you had a devil inside, that it squirmed, a sticky mess of blood and bone, that it was waiting to come out, that it chanted loudly, and at night you could hear it in the intake of breaths. I'm not willing. I'm not willing. I'm not willing. You searched to find its release into the white rooms of galleries, in the shape of liberation and the freedom of your body as a form of expression. You're a woman, covered in cold blue ice, laying by the waterline, waiting to be washed away, or for your curves to slowly melt back into the sand and the sea, or grainy colour Super 8 footage of a marble white figure floating near the breaking water being swallowed by the tide. You were sinking slowly to your knees in the gallery whilst your hands left blood-red streaks, marking the path to where you eventually knelt. You were a woman, curved, naked and exposed in long grass, and you may have appeared weak then, but you were strong when carved in stone. Strong enough to be a woman who stood tied to a table in her own apartment with her bare back half showing blood smears on her thighs in harsh lighting, who'd let an audience come to view her there so we wouldn't forget the less fortunate. You taught us how to be powerful when you showed us your vulnerability, whereas he was bricks in a white room piled like a low wall which somehow kept out everyone. He was concrete poetry which created a tumbleweed or zigzag or paper slash of words. I'm not willing. I'm not willing. I'm not willing, and two gunmetal grey sheets shaped like a cross which he called his personal structure. And you loved him, but always felt he was comprised of too many hard lines and sharp corners, and you loved him like the chessboard he once made, which, when you played, you started on the steel squares, whereas if he stayed still for too long, the ones he stood on soon took the mould of his footprint, your footprints. You should have moved quicker. But you loved him. He always said that you were at your most beautiful when viewed from behind sheets of glass, because those sheets contorted your body, your breasts deformed his personal structure. And you loved him. He was a large coiled spring waiting with the potential energy of a hurricane, all jagged edges and rectangle blocks of cold blue concrete which he said were to lament the children. And in a personal space, did he lament you when he watched your body smash into the all-night shop behind which were rectangles of adverts for face creams and Coca-Cola, a modern mosaic of red, orange and blue flashing lights, when you lay there having fallen 33 floors down from where you should have been, your body sunk, bleeding, a deep red silhouette? Did he lament you then? You'd almost preempted it when you dug holes in the mud shaped like a woman with splattered blood red around where her stomach should have lain. And they blamed him and acquitted him, ignored the scratches on his body and his face, discrepancy between his stories, the time it takes to call 911 and the time it takes to formulate a proper response to police questioning make for some very different listening. But he was one man's word, all chessboard moves and low brick walls you couldn't penetrate. You could not find him in the blood signs and body tracks which once made up your person, because he was the devil inside of you, though you did not know it. And now you only burn in photographs of the female form, and you loved him, whilst he still builds bricks into low walls, and you loved him. But under the concrete you've dug the shape of your body into the foundations which whisper, I'm not willing, and you loved him. 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 I'm not willing, but you loved him.